7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show, episode number 219. We are here for another off-season show. We are on this here. We basically, by we, I mean myself, decided that we weren't going to go months and months without a show here in the off-season. We're going to try to keep them flowing here every few weeks. So I decided to call up a few friends of the show. I started with Chris Cooksey, then we called Johnny Hopper, and then we called friend of the show, Kevin Moranz, to get their takes on off-season stuff, silly season stuff, rumors, how Paris Supercross went, all sorts of things like that. This is going to be a phone interview show, but still some good content in there. So thanks everybody for tuning in. First thing, just want to ask you to make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. If you're listening on podcast, leave us a 5-star review there. It really helps us out. And that's how we'll get the channel to grow and be able to bring you guys more content from anything with two wheels, essentially. So before we get started, I want to thank the sponsors that have helped us do all these shows this year. First off, Energy Fuel, best fucking drink out there. Keep yourself fueled, energized, strong from start to finish. Pick yours up today at CoachRobStore.com. Next up, Premier Custom Trailers. If you need a trailer, commercial or residential, which I have one, they are an amazing trailer shop. Check them out at premiercustomtrailers.com. And then TLR Coatings, of course. If you need anything powder coated, Cerakoted, they are your one-stop shop for that stuff. They do shipping to everywhere across the United States, so you can ship your parts in if you want to, or if you live in the Southwest Michigan, Northern Indiana, Illinois, that kind of area, you can swing by, drop your stuff off, get it coated. We coat all of Kevin's bike parts that he has done. Stuff holds up, works great. We coat a lot of my bike parts. We do bike builds where we coat stuff all the time, as you can see if you watch the channel. So make sure to check all that stuff out. Also on board with us for this show here, the Dirt Bike Depot, JT Cycle, Adept Creative Co, Gutter Works, Holster Co, Isaac Nelson Designs, and Clutch Media. Links in the descriptions for all of them. There are discounts for some of them, so make sure to check them all out. If you guys want to get some merch like the Dylan Danger Zone shirt, so you have one for next year when hopefully he's riding the outdoor season, and Weege gets to use the Dylan Danger Zone phrase there. Make sure to pick that up because that will be going away soon. Once that's gone, it's gone. We will have some new merch dropping with the Supercross preview show we're going to do here in a few weeks. Also, I know everyone out there is using Amazon right now. It's the holiday season. There are Amazon links in the description down below. All you have to do is click that Amazon link. It'll take you to Amazon, and you can go in there and buy whatever you want, and we will get a small slice of it, and it will help us out. So please go click those links because I know everybody out there is using those. Costs you nothing. Great way to support the show. And then our final thank you here is to our Patreon members. So the OG Kurtis Hodges still on board with us there on Patreon. And also we have a new patron, Isaac Gonzalez, who is actually our West Coast contributor there. Isaac lives out in the Lake Elsinore area, so he can hit up the Lake Elsinore track all the time and gets us those awesome shorts and reels from out there so that you guys can have content literally all the time. So, like I said, when we get going here, we have Chris Cooksey, Johnny Hopper, and Kevin Moranz talking. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and enjoy. All right, and first up here on another off-season show for us, it's the one, the only, Chris Cooksey from Cooksey Media. Hey, buddy. How's it going?
What up, dude?
Another day.
Doing?
Another day, another dollar here. We're on the phone, and you can actually hear me, though, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, it's way better. Before, it's always like all quiet, or like it's quiet, and then it cuts out, and then I'm guessing what you guys said. You sound crystal clear, man.
Well, so we made some adjustments here in the off season. I just got actually Starlink RV internet in here like 2-3 days ago, which is allowing me to have the Wi-Fi to be able to call you on the Wi-Fi right now. because before it was all like cell service, and where we have the thing, the studio, it's a steel roof, which is just like you're an infinite abyss. You know, like 1969, they can call the moon with no lag, but my cell phone doesn't work in a building with a metal roof. So, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's 2022. So whatever, man. I don't know. But anyway, man, let's talk some off-season moto here. So I'm gonna hit you with the hard-hitting off-season moto questions here. Number one, you have inside information. I want to know it. What is Ken Roczen gonna ride next year?
I don't think Ken Roczen knows what Ken Roczen's going to ride.
Dang.
Did you see him on a Stark Varg today?
I heard my buddy was over here and he was like scrolling Instagram when we were talking. He's like, dude, Kenny's riding a Stark. I'm like, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's just riding. I truly expect him, from what I know and the people I've talked to, what they've said is, one, Kenny's fickle. Kenny's going to do what Kenny feels like doing. And it looks like Yamaha. And it depends on how comfortable he felt, or maybe he feels really good on the Honda he built. But I can guarantee, or I can't guarantee anything, but if I was a betting man and I'm putting all my money goes on Yamaha and his own team, or second prediction would be his own team and Honda. One of those two options is what I think we're down to. I've heard some people say Suzuki. I think that's ridiculous. The guy's literally trying to win. He doesn't want to just cash a paycheck. He could have done that with Honda. So why would he just go do that with Suzuki? He's going to get what he wants out of the bike. And I mean, that aggression we saw this weekend in Paris, like, dude, we haven't seen that since 2017 prior to the arm injury. I mean, he stuffed Eli Tomac. I don't think he's stuffed anyone that I can remember in a long time.
No, not at all. He's been very passive the last few years, like since 2007, the beginning of 2017, essentially. I haven't watched the second night of Paris yet. I watched I'll tell you what, I was impressed the first night by how he tracked down Eli in, was it the second main, third main, whatever, and, you know, stuck right to him there after a bad start. So I don't know, man.
The second night, he dominated Eli. I mean, he owned him. He caught past him. Eli kind of cross-jumped him, pissed him off, and he just stuffed him. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
Like, that's why, and I said on my YouTube channel, like, if I had to pick right now, and we just did our Supercross preview show,
yeah,
I'd probably pick him to win the championship.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what his health, and I've heard some stuff about his health too. That because he's been down at Club MX, they've got a really good dietitian down there, and they think they might have figured out what his problems are, and maybe they've got him dialed in. I know we've heard that same song, different tune, but I don't know. I just have a feeling. And one of the big things nobody talks about with Epstein-Barr and that type of illness that he has, stress triggers it. So having his own team, having less stress, maybe he won't get sick. Maybe he is going to be fine. Maybe since he gets to do whatever he wants to do, it's crazy what stress does to the body. And if he doesn't have it and he's just going out there racing for himself, maybe we're looking at a different Ken Roczen.
Now, when you say so many things there, so when you say doing it himself, are we talking like you think he's gonna have a trailer hooked to the back of the motorhome for his driver driving around, or we're talking like everybody thinks where it's gonna be his bike's gonna be in Club's truck and he's gonna kind of pit off the side or something? Like, what are we?
My bet is he's either going to, he's going to be a part of another team. He's not going to do the whole logistics like Chad Reed did.
Yeah.
He's not going to hire all these different engineers and create a team. He's going to piggyback on a regular team, but he's got his own thing. He'll probably bring his own motorhome or whatever, so he's got his own place. But I think he's done that anyway because he doesn't want to hang out in Honda right next to Chase Sexton. So that really isn't anything new. He'll just have a different place where he walks out and grabs his bike, and he just gets to choose what color it is, whether it be blue. And I believe he's going to be based out of Club MX, which is going to give him two options. Phoenix Honda's based out of there, and then, Club. So I think there's a couple different options he can go, but I think that's definitely what he'll do.
You don't think he'd stick, if he sticks with Honda, you don't think he'd stay, isn't Firepower Honda having a team, or?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Because isn't that what
Phoenix Honda?
Isn't that what he's
is
doing right
based out
now?
of there.
Essentially, isn't that genuine Honda like Firepower Honda here or whatever?
Yeah,
okay.
It is, and I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
He could, but I really think he wants to be based out of Club in that area.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me either, which would be good for him too, I think, because it would be like a change of scenery, because he's been at the Nest or whatever it's called now, Sandbox or whatever, for however long, and obviously things are not going great. So we think Kawasaki's just completely off the table for it now.
I don't think that's dude. Nothing's off the table right now. Seriously, nothing's off the table.
Oh man.
Couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago when I did my video, it sounded like the Yamaha deal was done and he was going to go one more day and then sign. And then I hear from the same source, we're not really sure.
Jesus. This is Ken Roczen for sure.
And that's the thing is, like, Ken was gung ho and then all of a sudden he's not gung ho and then he's and it is what it is. But I will say whatever he does, he'll feel comfortable with and he'll be fast.
I'll tell you what though. I think if those World Supercross guys don't give him a bunch of money to put World Supercross graphics on his bike, I think they missed the boat there. That to me, I've heard, I don't know if it was you or somebody else say it, that would be the best thing ever. If World Supercross literally just sponsors Kenny for next year, says, hey, here's $500,000, $1 million, whatever, to come ride the whole series, but you got to run the graphics on your bike in AMA Supercross, and then every time he gets on the damn podium, it's, I'd like to thank the Red Bull World Supercross Yamaha team for standing behind me. I mean, just think about that. It would make Feld's brains explode. It would be so awesome.
But that same awkwardness, like what you're talking about, being the guy like you and I and Hopper, and he doesn't want that.
Yeah,
Kenny likes to be liked, and if he does that, he's going to get the looks. And I think that's part of the reason why over at Honda, when him and Chase are there, it was uncomfortable, it was stressful, and I just don't think he wants to go that way. But you're right, that would be so funny, that would be hilarious. And is it even allowed? Because sometimes you're not allowed to have competing sponsors, and I wonder if that would be considered a competing.
Probably.
I doubt that they would allow that to happen.
There goes all my fun. But speaking of Chase, have we heard anything else? Because the rumblings for a while there was that he had signed, sealed, delivered like a KTM 2024 deal. Have we heard anything about him for where he's moving next year? Because we all know he's not staying at Honda.
I believe I'm the one that broke that info about KTM.
Yeah. Okay.
And it looked to be signed. I'm told even if it was signed, it was like one of those letter of intents, or it's not something he can't get out of.
Okay.
If he did sign, which I'm not positive. I was told, but then I heard other stuff after. Sometimes your sources are solid. Sometimes they come back and what was solid information turned out to be wrong.
Look, Chris, this is the place right here to talk about anything that we don't really know and we just think is going to happen. Because honestly,
I would be willing to bet you. I'll bet you he's at KTM next year. He won't be at Honda. He's not going to coexist with Jet. Did you see how that was at the Destinations?
Oh,
I mean, it's not going to happen.
That's not. No. We all know that's not a thing. I'm honestly surprised he was there this year with Ken, to be honest with you. So. And like next year will be fine for him because he's just got Colt there and then Jet in the summer. But that's going to be super interesting to see what happens. Like, I wonder if he bought a motorhome. I bet he's got I bet he's got a motorhome already, or I bet he's buying one of the two.
I'm sure.
Because there is no way he's coexisting with Jet. And I'm here to tell you, Jet is going to give him everything he wants outdoors next year, plus some.
Yeah. Well, and you're a guy that likes to talk about PEDs, and I want to challenge you to go look at Chase Sexton's Instagram.
Oh, speaking of that, did you see the short I cut about Coach talking about Sexton being, air quotes, big last year in the preview show? Because I already cut a short about this, so it's up.
Okay, he's in Santa Barbara at a training camp, they say.
Uh-huh.
And dude looks like a UFC fighter. I mean, he's shredded and just looking like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't know anything in particulars, but I'm not naive enough to know what these things do to the body. And I'm guessing if you wanted to do some certain types of it in the off season, when you knew for sure you weren't going to get a test, you'd be benefiting all year. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if you can do whatever it is, the training camp, hell week, hell month, whatever you want to call it, boot camp there. If you can do that on a program, I mean, you could put down a base that you could just never blow through while you're off it. Like, and everybody out there is going to be like, you guys are nuts. We're really not. It's possible. It's 100% possible. I mean, you're big into the fighting world. How many of those fighting dudes are doing that crap in their air quote off season? Exactly.
Most. And they do it. Here's the thing that nobody talks about. The UFC tests their guys. Like, they tested the UFC champion, Yuri Prohaska. They tested him in 30 days. They tested him like 27 times. Seriously.
Yeah.
And he didn't get caught.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's doing something.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know, but you look at him and he definitely looks like, and it just tells you there's stuff out there that people don't know about. So
100%.
One test on race day, one urine test isn't going to get you, it's not going to tell you anything.
No.
And I don't even care. I really don't care. I say use whatever you feel like. We're asking them to do superhuman things. Take whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
So
yeah, it makes zero difference to me. So it's just funny that it's like the biggest not talked about secret out there thing. I don't know, whatever. It's
everyone is like, oh,
stupid.
Everybody's doing it, but nobody talks about it. It's like, you ever hear like bodybuilders talk about it and they're like, oh yeah, the clean bodybuilding, and they're like,
oh god, yes,
like they all know it but nobody will talk about it.
God, yes. The what is it, I follow Dana Lynn Bailey there. I'm real big. I like her husband a lot, and that whole Flagnerfeld brand they built there, and they're always preaching that she's natty, clean, all this stuff. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, dude, this broad is fucking jacked.
She's all natural, but she grows a goatee in a half an hour.
Yeah, so. I'm just like, dude, like, I don't know. You would have to really show me some blood tests to make me believe that you've never done anything. I'm not saying
there's not some freak athletes out there.
Oh, there is.
Remember Ricky Williams from the Dolphins, who was just a freak?
Nah, I don't remember him.
Running back, but I mean, he got busted for marijuana and got suspended. And he said when he got busted for marijuana and suspended, he's like, they asked him, and he was being totally honest. Like, have you ever used steroids? He's like, no. He's just a freak. And there are some freaks, but I think a lot of people use a lot of supplements, and it kind of muddies the water. What's a supplement and what's cheating? And is protein after a workout, is that cheating? Like, where do we draw the line? Are multivitamins cheating? Like, I mean, does something that naturally like,
oh, you cut out. You there?
So,
use
crystal meth if you want. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hold on.
Did it cut out for a sec?
It did. Seems okay, there we
go.
It was probably on my end. My Wi-Fi went down for a second there. Thanks a lot, Elon. You idiot. All right, what else we want to talk about off season here, man? We can talk about KTM, and those boys are in trouble. And I know you said it in your video already, and so I'm just reiterating that point, but I am so glad you said it because I watched that first night, and I went, man, Webb really looks like crap. And Marv crashed, and oh, that's not good. That doesn't look good. And then when you were like, dude, those bikes look like crap, I was like, oh, thank God I'm not crazy.
Well, and the thing is if one of the bikes or one of the guys look bad, like, Webb, let's be honest, he doesn't look like the in-shape Webb that we've seen. So if he didn't do good and Marv did do good, I'd be like, no big deal. But the fact that they both completely sucked, I'm like, oh, that's bad. And they're on that new generation that was supposed to fix the problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really not good.
Not good at all. Not good at all. And can we just talk about, like, it had to be it I hope it was this bad, because Webb didn't even put up a fight. Like, I can't remember if it was Marv passing him or Brayton or somebody passed him, and like Webb didn't do anything. And I'm like, that is not Cooper Webb, Bulldog Racecraft, whatever. Like, that is.
Well, and I think a little bit of that is the Paris Supercross. It is not the most important thing in the world. There's no purse money. You get your money for start money. It doesn't matter where you finish. I mean, there's a little bit of pride on the line, but it's not worth taking a guy out, blocking a guy, creating an issue for the season.
Yeah.
Over nothing. But especially when your bike's uncomfortable, you're just like, screw it. I'll go back and see if I can figure this thing out. And it's good that it happened, though. It's good those guys went over there because now at least they have 8 weeks to try and fix it.
Yeah.
This is A1 and you're going into the second round. We're going, oh, shit. So
Look, it would not surprise me to be going, oh, shit, with them this year anyway. Like, I'm not convinced they're going to be able to fix what was wrong last year. It was bad. It was bad. And it's a bad look on that brand, too, that the only person that won a race on your bike last year was Marvin Muskin, who you really didn't want to sign and have back. So, like, I don't know. This is
that was that was a slap in the face. That was pretty bad for Marv. Like, you're going to give Dungey, a guy who's been retired, you got to wait and see if he decides whether he wants to race, whether you're going to give Marvin a ride.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then, fun fact, his wife slapped his dick and told him he was not allowed to ride anymore. And so now here we are.
You think his wife told him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have inside info on that?
Man, dude, I know women. This is just a hunch. She was not pumped.
Oh.
She was not pumped he was there, period. I might have heard something somewhere, too, that it had something to do with his wife, but I don't remember. There's a lot that happens in a week for me, man. Like, I can't remember everything I listen to everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would have to, I don't know. I'd have to see some solid information because I would think she'd be like, yeah, go get that paycheck.
Well, you think, I mean, what do you think? You think he just decided he didn't want to ride anymore or what?
I think he didn't like the bike. He realized it wasn't competitive. And if he can't win, Dungey's the guy that wants to win. He's not going to ride around in 5th place and collect a paycheck. He's just not that kind of guy.
I guess. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, he did well on that bike, though, for even as bad as that bike supposedly was. But then again, maybe he started dabbling with the Supercross setting, and he didn't like that. So that could be a thing, too. Because that bike was definitely better outdoors.
Well, and the funny thing was he was telling everybody the bike was awesome. Keep in mind, the guy hasn't been on a bike in how many years?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it probably was awesome compared to what he rode. But it wasn't compared to the guys he's going against, if that makes sense. So.
Yep.
And then,
go ahead.
No, so then he got out there with those guys and went, oh, I see what they were complaining about.
Yeah, I should have jumped on Kev's. He had his new 22s when I was down at his place riding that Supercross stuff. I should have jumped on one of those and tried one of those and seen what it was like, just bopping around. So, but
let's be real. You really have to be at their level to really be able to notice that fine line.
Also
honestly,
true.
you and I probably aren't going to know the difference. I could probably ride a Suzuki and I couldn't really I'm not at the level these days where I'm pushing my bikes to their maximum. Those aliens, they are, and they need that little extra. So that's why I laugh, but it is what it is.
Those guys are, dude, that stuff is just wildly crazy. There is a whole new respect for these Supercross dudes after going and riding that stuff. Like, it is just another level of. Now, don't get me wrong. I came home and I now have we'll call it half of a Supercross track built in my yard right now. But it is a whole nother level of gnarly, that stuff, man. It is wild, but it's fun, but it is gnarly. Like,
I challenge anyone to walk down and walk a Supercross track. It's terrifying. Like the fact that these dudes line up 20 guys and just send it in the middle of a pack, sending these rhythm sections that are, 60, 90 feet. And then with like a 3-foot transition to the next one, and you have to hit it perfect.
Yep.
It's insane.
It's not for the faint of heart. And then you go even to something basic like a Supercross triple or something, which these guys just throw in second gear and they're just like yacht at the bottom and jump it. And it's like, dude, no way. You stand there and you look at it. The face is 5 foot tall, which isn't huge, but it's tall enough. And then it's just straight up and down. Like, you hit it and it just sends you into the stratosphere and then you fall out of the sky. I mean, it was wild being on the track when Kev was riding. And when you would stand like by the landing or something, just him alone by himself falling out, like you could feel the bike hit the ground when it came down. Like it was, dude, it's nuts. And like, I mean, you talk about walking. Well, anybody who can even walk it, then it's like, oh, well, it can't be that bad. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on a 450. Just, you don't even need gear. Just go try to roll through the whoops on it, because rolling through whoops is like the stupidest fucking thing that I've probably done all year on a motorcycle. Just rolling through, not doing anything else, just like second gear, just trying to literally roll over each one. And then I was talking to my buddy about this today, and he's like, and then you see like Cooper Webb do it, like rolling through them in practice on a slow lap with one hand. I'm like, I don't even know. I couldn't hardly roll through them with two hands focusing on what I'm doing, let alone one hand adjusting my pants. Like, yeah, this is fine. No problem. No, it's not fine. It's so not fine. It's the stupidest thing we ever came up with to do on a motorcycle. And I'm sad we decided to do it. But it's also awesome. God.
Dude, I mean, the whoops take commitment, and it's like a 4-second commitment. Like a triple, you just, okay, go for it, brup, or a rhythm, brup, brup. But that whoops, you have to look at it, decide to grab another gear and send it all the way across. It's not like halfway. Like once you get halfway, you have to keep going. If you let off the gas, you die. I mean, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, it's something else. Honestly, when I was down there, I was joking with Kev when I first got down there, because I had watched the day before like an AJ Catanzaro video, and he was talking about, yeah, when you go through the whoops, you just keep your head over the handlebars and you're fine. And I'm like, Kev, don't worry, I got this, bro. I'm going to throw this thing in third and just lug it through here, head over the handlebars. And he's like, bullshit, you're not going to do that. I'm like, let's just say I come out first lap and I blitz these before you do. Are you going to quit riding? He's like, yes. I'm like, perfect. I now have a goal. I didn't do that at all. Like, that was so far from even remotely being close. I only rolled through them twice, and I was like, I don't want to touch these things at all. I'm done. That's it. But AJ taught me how to do it. I just need to execute now, okay? So we'll be fine.
That's what I'm saying. You got to look at those, and you have to commit, and you have to just go and say, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to send it. And you just go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's something that I look at those dudes, especially when they get to a Glendale or someone like that, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Oh yeah,
I don't think anyone that hasn't ridden them doesn't appreciate how much just balls it takes to do that.
And I'll be honest, I've walked them before. I've done a couple track walks, and I've walked them, and I still thought like, it's probably not terrible. Rolling through them literally put it over the edge of like, this is stupid. This is absolutely dumb. Like, nope, I'm out. So,
yeah.
All right, sure. Man. What else we want to touch on here with off-season stuff?
Hey, what have you heard about Adam Cincerillo?
Yeah, I heard that his arm might not be as fixed as we all thought it was. I've heard.
No, I've always been really worried about this, just because it's nerves. Nerves are weird.
Yeah,
they don't work right. I heard he was going to retire. And then I also heard, no, he's going to send it. He's fine. I'm pretty sure he's not fine. I'm gutted for him.
Yeah.
I'm just gutted for him. That sucks, because he's, what a bummer.
Did you watch the video? There was a video out the other day of like him and Ando and Dino and
Mumford's.
Mumford's there. What did you think? I mean, I couldn't really get a good read on it.
It's so hard to tell off just a few clips.
Yeah.
Who knows what they showed you, what they didn't? I don't know. I don't think I could make a judgment just off of what I saw. If I was there and I got to see how he rode, if he put in more than a few laps at a time, what did he say when he came in? Like, there's so many different factors you have to consider when judging it. But yeah, from what I saw, I couldn't make a judgment. I'm hoping for a medical miracle and his arm's good.
Yeah, like I said, I've heard that it's not. I've heard he's still having issues with it. And I'm real sad about it, because he went and did that ayahuasca trip or whatever. And I was like, maybe this is what's going to get his head straight, and we're going to be able to hold it together for a whole fucking race and win one of these things. Like, that would be fucking cool. Like, I had real high hopes. I was betting on the drugs solving the problem here, okay? And now I'm like, well, the drugs might have solved the head problem, but if we can't hold on, that's still an issue. So, I mean, here's the thing. If he does, he needs to do a podcast or get a commentator job or something because, like,
he will. He will.
I know he will, but I mean, yeah, we need
I just want him.
like that.
I just want him to race a little bit longer. Like, he's such a fun dude to have out there, and he's so full send. And I don't know. I just like watching him, and it would be a crying shame if he had to quit this early. I mean, I would put it right down there with Rick Johnson as far as like career disappointments, you know?
Well, isn't it amazing how like one little thing like changes your whole trajectory? Like he comes in as what everyone was calling him, Baby Jesus, and wins like what, his first 2-3 Supercross races at like 14 or something dumb like that. Like, I know he was 16, but I'm just saying he was like literally a day over 16 or something. He wins his first Supercross race, goes out, wins the second one, third one he like gets a bad start, and then boom, he's coming through and pops his shoulder out, and that's all she wrote. And then since then it's just been a fucking spiral of just black holeness. It's been terrible.
He did get that one outdoor championship, but you're right. Like what he looked like he was going to do and what he did, completely different.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of getting screwed or whatever, or cut short career, how about LeBlanc getting cut from Star? Like, doesn't surprise me, but
it seems like everybody rides for Star. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I think we've had this conversation. I believe if you sign a guy to a pro contract out of the amateurs, if you don't give him 3 years, you're screwing yourself and you're screwing the rider.
100%.
If you can't give a guy 3 years to develop, then you shouldn't sign him. Sign, Carson Brown or somebody who's, kind of coming into their own, who's made all those rookie mistakes, who's developing as a serious rider. Like it's just dumb that the whole thought process on that is idiotic to me.
Yeah.
They invest how much money in him throughout the amateurs, and then they just cut him loose like after 1 year. Like, man, it's so dumb. I literally don't understand it from a financial or a human aspect. I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but I guess it's probably partially to do with Deegan's going to go pro for outdoors next year. Let's see, who else? I mean, I know they've got everybody. So they got what? Kitchen. Who else? We got Kitchen, Thrasher. Who else they got on the team here? I'm blanking hard.
I don't know. They got so many. I don't have to have a list in front of me right now.
Yeah, Romano's still riding for them. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
man.
the thing, and all those dudes are deserving. What's his name? The guy that wins, Nate Thrasher.
Yeah,
he wins or crashes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But speaking of amateurs too, here that maybe aren't going to get their shot. Have you heard anything about Jet Reynolds?
He's with Pro Circuit. Last I heard.
But is he though? Like really?
That's a good question. That's
because
that's
Ryder
really
D
question.
didn't have a pro contract, and then all of a sudden everything was good. No. The contract thing, that was a misunderstanding. Everything's fine. It was very democratic here. Everything was fine. Like, no problem. He's got a pro contract. He's going to ride pro this year, whatever. But you know what I haven't seen is Jet Reynolds riding at all. So
it will be probably one of the most highly touted amateurs to ever be a part of the sport. And for him to not even get a pro debut yet, it's tough. I mean, I don't know. And I said when he turned pro, I thought he should have stayed amateur one more year, but they signed these kids to these contracts and it's dumb.
I mean, here's the thing. Highly touted amateur. What did he do on a big bike? Like, he didn't win Loretta's titles. He's been hurt ever since he touched a big bike. And why?
True.
Because they fucking ran him down training, and he became brittle, and then he hurt himself, and then he just could never stop hurting himself because you got to come back and ride, but you're not really healed, and on in the spiral of death, just like Coach talks about all the time. And that's what this kid's in, man. He's been in it since they put him on a 250F, and he has just never, ever recovered from it. And honestly, I don't think he's going to. He's going down in a blaze of glory like that B-17 at the Dallas Air Show the other day. Like, just...
Hey, jeez, bro.
Just on fire and just going down, man. And like,
I can't believe you just made that reference.
That is, man, that was wild too. Did you see that? I'm sure you saw that video. That was
horrible,
everywhere.
Man.
I couldn't believe I was seeing that. That
horrible.
was terrible. I mean,
I can't believe you just made a joke about it.
dude, I'll make a joke about anything. I'm a dick joke
Oh.
comic. It's fine.
Dude, I
Like-
had a buddy. Remember Payne Stewart, the golfer?
No, I'm
Payne
terrible
Stewart
at
was
this.
a golfer that won. He won one of the Masters, but he died in a plane crash like a week before Halloween.
Jesus.
My buddy went Halloween as Payne Stewart. He was painted white like a golfer, and I'm like, oh, dude,
Too
like,
soon, bud.
what are you doing? Another buddy went as Christopher Reeve on a horse. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys?
Jesus.
When you made that reference about that airplane, I felt like I was hanging out with my old college buddies again. I'm like, no,
I mean, dude,
too soon.
Honestly, that's what his career is like, though. Okay, like it is terrible. Okay, I don't have anything against the kid. Like I feel bad for him that he was such a good amateur and then gets on a big bike and can't do anything. But I mean, that's what it is. It is okay. Let's take it away from the airplane. It's a raging dumpster fire. Like you
It's
come
pretty
out.
bad. It's pretty bad, but it's so hard. I don't blame him. And like I said, I blame
No.
the whole system. And once he becomes this winner and he doesn't, and then has a couple of injuries, it's got to mess with his psyche. Like I understand a little bit of that because I mean I came through the amateur ranks myself, then got hurt, and it just never panned out. It messes with you mentally, man. I hope the kid's okay mentally because it can really fuck with you to be thinking you're going to be something and then not.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of years in therapy getting over that shit. So, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I
I hope it works out and he at least gets a taste of it and gets to go give it a real run. And I think that would kind of alleviate some of that. But if he never ever even gets a crack at it, God, it's going to be. It's something. It's just haunting. Like to think of it just bothers me. I feel bad for the kid.
Like if I'm them, I tell him to come out for outdoors and work him in that way. Because we have seen that start to be a thing of like these guys do a few outdoor races, do Loretta's, do the last few outdoor races, and then either do amateur stuff, including like Supercross Futures, and then come into outdoors full time the next year. And like it seems to work better-ish, I want to say, because they at least get used to like the speed and the fact that you're now on a starting line with everyone who's on $100,000 motorcycle.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost think you make him your test rider for next year. Just make him test. That's it. Test all year long.
Yeah. Something like that. So another off-season thing here. Any further information on what Justin Cooper's doing next year?
So they changed the rule, right, on eligibility for Supercross?
Yes, but he's out.
You sure?
I would be highly surprised because they lobbied for him and Nichols to be able to come back since neither one of them really got a shot, we'll call it. And so they lobbied pretty hard, and AMA shut them down. Now, since then, yes, you are correct. From what I understand, AMA has changed the rule that now there is no point-out rule, and if you win a title, you get to defend, and if you don't start, you still get to come back and race one more year after that type deal, I think.
Then he would be eligible for that.
Yes, but I don't know if does he get grandfathered in, like, since the rule got changed after, you think?
Of course he does, and that's what I thought. I haven't heard officially, but I would expect him to defend the title, and, the title that he never lost last year, and then maybe kind of dip his toes in the 450 Supercross, and then outdoors, all 250.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because I keep hearing all sorts. I mean, I have literally heard no Supercross 450 outdoors, no Supercross 250 outdoors. You're the first one to tell me, like, well, maybe he gets in on this new rule now because he can come in and, whatever, ride one more year Supercross or whatever. My thing is like, what does that do for your confidence that, like, you win a 250 Supercross title and then your team's like, yeah, you're not ready for 450 Supercross, dude? Like, how does that break your confidence down there? Because, I mean, literally...
I don't think it does. Because, I mean, had he defended it, one Supercross title. There's a crap load of dudes that got one Supercross title that never did anything on a 450.
Oh, 100%.
But if you get a guy that defends it and gets a couple of them, almost all those guys do pretty good.
But do you think he's going to get it again?
Yeah, absolutely he could. If he's not in Jet Coast. So.
Well, we all know, dude, Jet might as well ride the coast. Like, he might as well just plan on racing privateers because that's basically what he's going to race. They're going to shove everyone up against Jet who they don't think can win a title anyway. No one who thinks they're going to, like, literally, Jet's coast is going to be, and I feel bad saying this about these guys, it's going to be so weak compared to the other coast because anybody who thinks they can win a title is going opposite of Jet. And here's my thing. What coast is Jet going to ride? Are they going to put him on the West because there's all the hype and all the publicity on the West, even though he's not going to be technically defending the title there? Or are they going to put him on the East to defend it and run that number 1 plate?
I don't know. I probably could look into that and find out. The thing is, I do like about their camp is they don't hide it. As soon as they know, they let it out there.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, 100%. So, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do either. Like, part of me thinks that Mertz is going to be like, no way, bro. It'll be way better if we have a West Coast and an East Coast title. Plus, I can market you way better on the West. So, like...
No, Mertz is going to be like, let him go wherever he feels like it. He's going to he doesn't make the racing decisions. Dude, he just rolls with them.
I'll be real honest. So. I want to go to the practice track with all of them one day just to listen to Mertz talk shit to them. Because for a guy who probably can barely ride a motorcycle, I've heard he just lays the wood to those boys talking shit at the track. So it sounds awesome.
Myrtle is a good dude. I like that guy.
I know. He didn't email me back, though. That makes me sad.
Dude, you know how many people contact him?
I know. I talked to him at Redbud, and he told me to send him an email, and so I did, and they didn't email me back. I probably should send him another one.
Send him another one. Probably got junk mailed. You're all mad that probably got junk mailed, and you didn't even see it. He's not that type of guy. Like,
I'm not mad.
He doesn't text me back very, like, he does sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. But I just know I'm not mad because I know how many people are hitting him up.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, I know. That guy's phone blows up all the time. Like I said, I'm not mad over here. I'm just like, man, that didn't pan out there. But, again, I should get proactive and send a follow-up email.
Try it again. Don't be all butthurt. Come on.
I'm not butthurt.
What are you, Steve Mathis? You're going to hold a grudge forever over something that doesn't matter?
I'm not butthurt about anything, man. It's fine. I'm trying to talk to Jet about his R8 and see if he's got twin turboed or not, okay? These are the info I'm trying to find out. And, like, Hunter Lawrence is my best friend, so... Like, we talk Chevy trucks, that's our thing. So, that's what I'm trying to do.
Nice.
So, all right, man. Well, I told you 15, 20 minutes. It's been 38 now. So I suck at this, but, No,
we do this every time. I kind of figured. So
I appreciate you coming in on the off season here. I was like, man, I don't want to not do any shows until we get to the season preview here. So... I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hit everybody up and try to interview a bunch of people, and then I'll just edit it all together at a later time here.
Why don't you just drop them like one at a time? Just whenever.
Well, I suppose I could. I mean, I probably honestly
spread them out. You don't have to do them all at once. Spread them out. Like do pieces,
bro. I'm gonna
do.
No,
dude. Off season stuff's more exciting than regular season anyway.
I don't know if you've seen this. I'm crushing the YouTube game right now because YouTube Shorts is my jam, dude. Like, I love it. And I'm not sure if you're aware, I have a West Coast contributor now, who lives like 5 minutes from Elsinore. So.
Nice.
I got to get him a new phone, though, to take videos, because, like, right now he's rocking an iPhone 6S, so that camera's not great, but the budget's low over here, so I need to figure out what kind of upgraded phone I can get him so we can get a little better quality videos from him, but he's out there. He's going to go, like, 3 West Coast races. He lives right out there. Huge fan of the show for a long time. Kid's awesome. And he was like, hey man, anything I can do to help? And I was like, bro, you live 5 minutes from Elsinore, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, I need vertical videos. Every chance you can go to Elsinore. I don't care if it's an amateur kid. I don't care if it's a pro kid. Doesn't matter. I need vertical videos because we are crushing it. So I'm pumped.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I just wish they'd turn the money faucet on for those here
I just got an email or something. What'd they say, February 1st?
Yeah, February 1st. It was supposed to be like middle of January, which I was pumped because I was like, well, middle of January, I can get an idea of what I'm going to earn. And then hopefully by the end of the year, I can go to an extra race or two, like for the Supercross season. And now they're like February. I'm like, well, I guess we'll go to an extra outdoor this year. Like, stand in a field and sweat my balls off. But what's new? Or maybe I'll go to a super duper motocross race.
Hey, do I get to plug one of my things here? Or
Absolutely, man. Plug away.
So,
like a butt plug or.
No. You got those cornered. Epic Garage Designs. I'm running their YouTube page. We're just trying to build it. So anyone who's on YouTube, head over to Epic Garage Designs, subscribe to their YouTube, and there's a video where I did an interview with the owner, Travis Ogburn. Just make a comment on that video, and they're entered to win some of the epic tracks that you put your bike underneath. So,
can I qualify to win this?
Of course. If you comment and subscribe, hell yeah.
I might need one for my. Do they sell the hexagon lights that go on the ceiling? Do you know?
No lighting yet.
Okay, I was gonna say because that's the other thing I need. I need a set of hexagon lights, and I could use one of those to put under the project bike that we're working on and make it look better than the concrete floor. So,
oh, dude, it looks so cool. And it keeps the floor clean.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, man. I watch your channel. Don't worry, I watch your stuff. I appreciate it. It throws me off every time you say I'm going to interview my friend Travis, and I'm like, I did not get interviewed by you at all in the last 37 days. So, I don't know what you're talking about, man. So,
dude, you know what's funny is you guys in my phone, it comes up, and I think I've even texted you thinking it was him, not looking like. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have done that once. I remember getting something random and weird and being like, what? And you're like, oh, sorry, wrong Travis. Yeah, nice. Yep, thanks for saying hi, bud. So
it's all good. You know we love you, Travis.
Oh, yeah. Of course. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, buddy. Good luck with your YouTube and stuff here and growing that YouTube for them, too. That's awesome that you're doing that. And, we appreciate you coming on. And we'll have you on during the season here now that we can call people on the FaceTime audio. It's so great. I'm so happy. And we can hear each other.
I'm not going to lie. It's a lot nicer. It's really cool.
It's the crazy thing is it is literally all the same hardware setup other than now I have the thing. So it literally has to be the service has been killing us here. So whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
No big deal. So, all right, man. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your week, sir. We will talk to you soon, buddy.
You got it, brother. Later.
All right, everybody. Cooksey from Cooksey Media. Make sure to go check him out. He has some inside sources. I use him as a source sometimes for certain things. So make sure to check out his YouTube channel, Cooksey Media there. And he's good for some other off-brand. He's not part of the corporate media conglomerate. So that is his off-season interview here. And we'll move on to the next one. All right, next up, we have the one, the only, MX Unfiltered, Johnny effin' Hopper. Hey, buddy.
What's up, Travis? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I know it's always so weird because it's like you talk for like 20 minutes before you start recording, and then you got to act like it's brand new. Like, in all fairness, guys, we just had a 20-minute conversation about pretty much everything under the sun, from dirt bikes to romance novels. So... All right, man. Well, I just had this idea. I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to put together a little off-season show here. I'm going to call up everybody I know on my phone, try to put together a show without having anybody in studio other than myself. So thank you for coming on here, for giving us a little bit of your day here.
Of course.
I guess let's start with the biggest thing here of the off-season. So I had Cooksey on the other day. I was talking to him, and so now you're second up here. So... where is Ken Roczen going to ride next year?
Saving the best for last. I see what you're doing.
Oh no, I got more beyond you. Don't you worry. I got the comeback of Alias MX gear coming up later this afternoon. So,
well, tell him I said hi.
I will. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So, anyway, where's Kenny going to ride? Is he going to ride a blue bike, a green bike, a yellow bike? Is he going to ride a Stark next year? Where's he going to land in your opinion here?
Truthfully, the fan in me would love to see him on the POS Suzuki, right? Just because I feel that he could help the industry quite a bit more doing that. And I think, I've had the saying of calling him a purple cow, where the analogy is marketing terms, where if you're driving down the road and you see just a bunch of cow, you don't give a shit. But if you're driving down the road and you see a purple cow, you're going to slam on your brakes, pull over, take some photos, feel like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Kenny is doing. I think if he can make it swing financially to be more advantageous, and if I was HEP Suzuki, I'd be doing everything under the sun to try to get a rider like that, because not only do you get the publicity for all your sponsors, but I am sure Kenny brings a lot of relationships to have this semi-privateer team kind of rejuvenate itself and get more money and more backing and try to become something like a Star Racing Yamaha.
Yep.
And not only does he have the connections, but there's also the connection with the World Supercross, where there's going to be no conflict of interest for him to go race over there. I feel like it's a win-win. And who wouldn't want to see the dude that, I believe he's like the last dude to win on a Suzuki, at least a championship. It would be sweet to have him come back and potentially do the same thing. Like, that's a straight up Cinderella story.
Oh yeah.
And that the problem with that is, can they make sure that they have enough money to afford him? And then also, is he going to have enough resources to be able to compete competitively over 17 races? Those are two real big issues. But if let's just say in a perfect world that could make happen, man, people would be buying more Suzukis and almost have a Worx Suzuki bike and probably get away with halfway ass cheating with rejuvenating a 2017 RMZ to make it compete with some of the new people.
Yeah,
or new bikes.
So I don't think the money's a problem. I don't know if you remember this, but at like the end of last year, there was a lot of rumors floating around that Suzuki was they were pulling out of MotoGP and they were going to dump a bunch of money back into motocross and supercross. And I had heard a rumor that they took a big swing at AC, trying to get him away from Kawasaki. And obviously he turned them down, and we all know what's going on there. But I don't think the money is going to be an issue. I think the biggest issue, and we were actually just talking about this, because I don't know if you've seen it, but Michael Lindsay, I guess, put up a video this morning or something talking about Kenny. Cooksey the other day said he really thought he was going to go the Club MX route. I really thought he was going to go the Club MX route too, of like, he'd have kind of his own deal off to the side essentially, but he'd be out of their truck on a Yamaha with like Red Bull and all this other crap. However, what I'm hearing now is that he's not a huge fan of the structure of that team, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched the video yet. This is just what I'm hearing. So the Suzuki, my thought with the Suzuki, my feeling is, if that bike's not head and shoulders better than what he's been riding with the Honda, I just don't see him going to the Suzuki. Like, that bike, they would have to have that thing so good for him, or have so much more money, which in reality, even if that team has extra money coming in from Suzuki to try to pull somebody like Ken Roczen here to try to grow Suzuki back into its glory days, we'll call it. I mean, how do you justify paying him more than like 1.5 mil for? I mean, essentially, it's got to be a Supercross only, because there's no way World Supercross doesn't pay him another mil and a half to go race those 6-8 rounds next year. Like, I don't know. This is probably one of the most intriguing off-season stories we've had in a long time, because it really is a toss-up, and there's so many different things going in so many different ways that it's just like, who knows what's going to happen here? And then you throw in the fact of, like, you see Paris last weekend, and he beats Tomac, 4 out of 6 races, and, like, comes back in on Tomac after that little cross jump thing and, like, stuffs it to him. Like, this is interesting. I don't really know. I had money on Club MX, but if they're saying that they don't think he's going to ride the Club MX because he doesn't like the structure there, then I'm not really sure. It's up in the air again.
So I agree and disagree with you, Travis. If I'm speculating, because I've been talking about this for a few months now, because I got information that he's been talking with HEP Suzuki for a while at this point, and I agree that it doesn't work out very well for him for Club MX because they've got a huge team. You know, they've got a big team.
Yep.
And if you got a guy like Kenny coming in, he's going to want to take up, 90% of your resources and time. And they can't do that because they've got, I don't know how many other riders, 5, 6 going. And so they're already spread pretty thin. And that doesn't work for somebody that is a rock star like Kenny. If he's going to join something, he wants to be the supreme dude. And personally, I feel like a little bit of ego, that's sort of why he was getting away from Honda, is because Honda wouldn't treat him as well because, A, you've got Sexton that is faster than you. And if you can just figure it out a little bit consistency-wise, he's going to beat you quite often. And then you've got Jet Lawrence and Hunter coming up. It's like, why, even though Kenny's done so much for the sport, we need to put our resources somewhere else. And that's why I feel like Suzuki, risk first reward, Suzuki should be doing, or just HEP Suzuki, they should be doing absolutely everything they possibly can. Like some of the information that I have was HEP Suzuki was actually thinking of going KTM, with talking with
I'd heard that too.
Kenny. And I believe the reason for that is because Kenny's going, hey, guys, we need more resources, and Suzuki's not really to give them. But if we all of a sudden switch to KTM, we can have a more professional sound motorcycle. And I just, personally, I'm being a little biased here, but I think like the best route for him to do whatever he wants to do as far as kind of being an independent contractor is the Suzuki route, because HEP Suzuki, they know how valuable he is and how much he can kind of lead them into potentially being a podium team. And, Kenny obviously wants to still win races, but it's not just about American Supercross anymore. It's about being a top tier guy in the World Supercross as the defending champion and everything. And I think Kenny's leaning more towards the World Supercross being primarily his reason for signing rather than here in Supercross, because it's innovating and it's different and it's going to pay him more. So if the Club MX team is not really working out so much for him for being a top tier guy, that leaves the door open for Suzuki 1000% with this Twisted Tea deal. And I know that he's got the Red Bull stuff, but I mean, Red Bull doesn't make alcohol. So I don't really see how that could be as big of a conflict of interest as if he was to go to be a Jason Lawrence, Jason Anderson teammate on Kawasaki with Monster Energy and Red Bull. I feel like that's a huge conflict of interest. And then if he goes with a team like that, well, they're going to not want him to raise World Supercross because the primary money that they'd be giving him would be here in America. Yeah. And I just feel like he's more narrowed in on World Supercross than he is here in America.
Yeah, 100%. Did you see the bike from yesterday, though? I don't know that Twisted Tea is their primary sponsor anymore. That bike was all about Progressive Insurance.
Yeah, which is huge, which is another deal where it's like, hey, here's those resources coming in that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Progressive is a huge sponsor. Like, you're going to have Grundle on here soon with Alias, and, he was the primary dude with Geico Honda. And yep. That team got screwed over because Geico was like, why do we spend so much money on this damn dirt bike team when we could just sponsor the series and get quite a bit more bang for our buck? Well, here's another huge...
If you talk to Mike Grondal, there were some different reasons outside of that that the Geico thing fell apart.
I'm generalizing.
Yeah,
we could go into semantics and what really happened with that stuff, because it does sound very convoluted and sort of not very good business practices per se.
Yep.
I guess is what I'll say on that aspect, being at least nice about it.
Yeah.
Progressive is a huge sponsor, absolutely huge sponsor that we need here in motocross, and I think it's great. That's why, again, I'm going. I bet my bottom dollar. Not that like my betting ability is very good right now because we see the price of Bitcoin. Would be on him riding yellow.
Yeah. I mean, it does make the most sense at this point because, like I said, just knowing what we're hearing now with as far as the Club MX thing goes and everything else, it's like that's probably what's going to happen, but it's not over till the fat lady sings, I guess. He could still go with the Firepower Honda deal, but then again, it's like, is Honda going to give him bonuses? No. There's no way Honda's giving him bonuses if he's riding for that team. Like, so then it turns into, well, is Suzuki paying out bonuses? Is the bonus big? And I don't know. It's
like finding a good woman. You can't have the perfect scenario, right? On team, he either has the best bike possible, but therefore not the best paycheck. You can't have everything work as well as he needs. He just needs to have things that line up the best that he could possibly have. And I don't think, again, being repetitive here, that he's worried about winning the Supercross championship here in America. And I personally think that's why we saw him so aggressive at Paris, is because he's a dude that has nothing to lose. Like, he doesn't care if he doesn't line up for A1. Like, yeah, he wants to, but if he got hurt in Paris, he would just end up defending his championship at World Supercross and being good. Where Tomac, I don't feel like it was a fair fight between the two, because Tomac has gone, I'm not really going to risk all my marbles here to beat Kenny because I've got a championship to defend in America here in a little bit. So it's just a different dynamic, and I want to see Kenny continue being aggressive, but I think midway point through the season here in Supercross, if Kenny is not in a title contention, we're going to see him back it down to do the Justin Brayton, Kevin Windham kind of a thing where you're thinking of longevity so that he can then race World Supercross.
Okay. Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. So it's, at least it's giving us something to talk about here this offseason, because honestly, I was just thinking the other day, I was like, we haven't even seen like a bunch of bangers from dudes this offseason so far. Like, I know we're only, I guess we're mid-November, getting to late November here, so we should start seeing some. I don't know. All right, let's move on here. Couple more things that I haven't heard you talk about on your end of things, and I talked to Cooksey about this. So from the analyst here of us, I'll ask you the same couple things here. Number one, do we ever see Jet Reynolds race a pro race?
I think he's taken a lot of his life to do this. I would love to see him race. I think it'd be good for everybody all around to see him race. How do you feel, Travis, about it?
So, I'm not completely. So everybody, it hasn't been publicly said yet, but listen to my conspiracy theory here, because I know you're into this. So there was the big debacle during the summer about Ryder D's contract, right? Oh, he doesn't have a pro contract with Pro Circuit. Then all of a sudden, like a week later, it's like the pot starts stirring. People start talking, well, Jet Reynolds is going to come back. Oh, wait, no, his arm's still fucked up. But wait, he's been riding. When are we going to see Jet Reynolds? And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Ryder D has a pro contract. He has a pro contract. Everything's fine. Everything's normal. Everything's fine. Me in Pro Circuit, Ryder D in Pro Circuit. We're married. We have a contract. He's going pro with us. We've dumped all this money into him. It's great. Haven't heard a fucking word about Jet Reynolds since. Like, and when did he get hurt? Was it East Coast? He was going to ride Supercross and he crashed in press day or something. Broke his arm.
I'd have to look it back up.
So I think it
here,
was
I
East
can try
Coast because
to
I don't think it was
Google.
A1. So it must have been East Coast. So you're talking February. So now we're at 9 months, and we haven't heard anything, haven't seen anything. No one's talking about when he's going to come out, and is he going to go west? Is he going to go east? Any of that stuff? Like, there's just nothing. It's radio silence. And then, like I said, on top of that, all of a sudden, Ryder D has a pro contract with PC, which he didn't have when he did like his first couple, like Redbud and stuff for outdoors.
Yeah, it was still an amateur deal.
Yeah, so I'm just reading between the lines here of like, did they pull that contract out from under Jet? Because it's like, well, you can't even freaking stay healthy, dude. Like, how are we gonna do this? You've been hurt since you stepped on a big bike, essentially. So, and then they give it to Ryder D. Like, I don't know. This is interesting. I'll be super interested to see the pro
Travis,
circuit
why not?
team intro.
I'm sure those contracts are written with clauses for that stuff.
What do you mean, like clauses where they can just pull it if you're not performing, essentially, or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't they put stuff like that in there? Like,
100%.
There's clauses in there for if you get caught with PEDs, then you have to give all your money back.
Sorry, I coughed.
Yeah. That stuff is a big issue here.
Yeah.
And again, it sucks that Jet doesn't have a bunch of people looking at him to fill in.
Yeah.
And kind of back to the Roczen deal, this is sort of potentially opening up new doors for factory guys to be team swapping.
Yep.
Where it's not like you're cheating on your girlfriend with your mistress because you're changing all this different bikes. Like, it's been awesome seeing him ride a e-bike and saying how good it is, and riding a Yamaha and a yellow Yamaha at the Straight Rhythm, and now the Suzuki and the Honda. Like, it's been super cool to see that. And
yeah.
I would bet again that Jet Reynolds does line up, and his worst case scenario is just a privateer stuff, because you spend your entire life, being groomed as a little superstar, and then it's kind of taken from you. He owes it to himself to at least keep trying, because truthfully, that's kind of the problem with these riders, is they don't have a backup plan. So they will continue to bang their head against the wall. I'm guilty of that as well. If it's clear, set in day that it is not going to work out, guys will continue. Like, a lot of the privateers I talk to, because I talk to a lot of them, they're like, I just don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of factory guys, they're like, well, I'm at least smart enough with my agent and everything that they tell me that I shouldn't do this unless I have a factory ECU or kind of a bike. Christoph Purcell, James Stewart, these guys are like, I'm not going to return if I'm not going to get stuff that I know that I can win on, kind of a thing. But here's a kid that's an amateur kid. I would say he owes it to himself to, make some mains and try to start from scratch, kind of a thing, prove everybody wrong. And it does make sense for pro circuit. They're looking at a business aspect. And if there's a rider that's not very consistent, well, they got to go with a rider that's a little bit more consistent, because at the end of the day, it's not about the longevity of riders or trying to help a certain rider. It's about how do we continue to try to get our spot back as being the number one team on the 250s.
Yep.
But Mitch Payton does have a track record of your career's kind of over. If you can't make it with me, then nobody else is going to want you, kind of a thing. And this is just an interesting scenario, because Jet Reynolds really didn't get as far as like a solid opportunity, like a Faulkner or something, before things just started going bad.
Yep. All right. And one last thing here before I let you go. Justin Cooper next year. What are we going to see him ride? Because I've heard everything from no Supercross, 450 outdoors, 250 Supercross, 450 outdoors, 250 Supercross, and 250 outdoors. Where do you think he lands? And in noting that they did change the 250 rules, apparently. So, like, I guess you get to ride one more year after a title. So, like, he got hurt, didn't get to ride at all last year. So, technically, under the new rule, he qualifies. But he technically, under the old rule, had already been pushed out. So, me and Cooksey were having this argument the other night because Cooksey thinks he's going to get to ride 250 Supercross. And I'm like, but he was under the old rule. So, like, I don't know how this works. So, what are your thoughts on that?
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You know, the rules, as far as from the people that I've talked to in the industry, is they're guidelines. They're not really set in stone.
100%.
And if that is true, then his best opportunity is, we know he can win on a 250. I don't think he can win on a 450.
No.
And he's an absolute talent that this sport needs, and it would be a shame to have him not race. And so if I was in any sort of business marketing, and if I was his agent, I'd be playing left and right to try to get him to ride a 250. If he doesn't get on a team, well, then maybe a 450 makes more sense for him, because we all know that the 450s are cheaper to be competitive on than a 250. Real go for it, because
yeah.
But
I think he's still on Star. Like, I don't think he's off of Star. I've just heard all these different scenarios with Star for next year with him. So,
see, I was hearing stuff that he was like the first guy that was going to be removed from Star because he just got so much talent coming up there, which sucks because he's been like a Marvin Muscan, where he's always just been kind of second fiddle.
Yeah. But no. They didn't get rid of him. They got rid of Matt LeBlanc. It's fine.
Yeah. See, this is kind of the problem, that there's so much speculation with stuff where it's like, why don't, like football and everything, left and right what is being talked about, what is going on. And here in motocross, the biggest thing that I hear from team managers and that don't want to have me tell their name, but they'll give me some information. And it's like, why isn't this public knowledge?
Yeah.
Why do these guys feel weird about this, not letting us really know the details of what's going on? I from not being as educated on the topic, Travis, just from more of a fan type standpoint, if he's still on Star, he should be racing 250 Supercross. That makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah. I don't think you see him in there's no way Star puts him at 450 Supercross. Like, that's just, it's not even a thing. And then there isn't anywhere else for him to go to race 450 Supercross. So at this point, he's got to still be on Star, and 250 makes the most sense. But then again, too, you get into this, you're going to have the coast that has Jet winning, and then everybody else on the other coast. So, because pretty much, like, if you're rolling into this season here of 250s, I mean, you are trying your best to figure out where to go that Jet's not going, because, I mean, in my opinion, there just isn't anybody in this class, in this 250 class at this point, that can beat Jet. There just isn't. Like,
Agreed.
He's way too good. He's way too consistent for these boys here, so if I think I'm good enough to win a 250 title, I am going to the exact opposite coast of Jet Lawrence. And, like, Justin Cooper knows he can beat Jet, but I don't know, for lack of a better term, to be that dumb to be like, yeah, I'm going to go right in and race him head on here right now when I really need another title so I can get a 450 contract somewhere. That's sketchy to me. That's putting all your eggs in one basket there, essentially, because that's...
Yeah, but I mean, if you're saying, if we're thinking that everyone else wants to go somewhere else because they don't want to race Jet, well, then at that point, you're kind of guaranteed to be a podium rider,
Yeah.
which still has some weight, as opposed to going to the other coast and potentially being, a much more ruthless series.
Yeah.
And for Jet, it's just going to make it a walk in the park if everyone is scared of him. So for that, I almost feel like he should just go race Jet.
Maybe. Cross your fingers something happens
And
to him.
we know those star bikes are fast. If he can get a start, and these are not like motocross races where it's 30 minutes, plus a lap. He might be able to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see any of these guys being able to consistently beat Jet. Like, we've seen Jet have his ups and downs, and like, I mean, look at Outdoors last year. He didn't even essentially win every moto, and he still wrapped it up a round early, three motos early or something like that. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to bet against that kid for anything.
Yeah, I mean, nobody ever wants to wish somebody ill harm, but if you're Justin Cooper, you're betting that, hey, potentially maybe this guy has a hiccup here and there, because you're talking about 17 rounds at 15 minutes versus 24 motos at 30 minutes, 35 minutes each.
Yeah.
There's much more time available for somebody to make a mistake and come back. Hence, why has Tomac been so just ruthless in motocross? Is because he's damn near had twice as much time to make up for some of his silly mistakes than in Supercross.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess I'm kind of being devil's advocate on you here, going,
no, you're okay.
He should be racing Jet and just trying to capitalize on some of the mistakes and try to be as clean as he can be. And if he can get good starts, Cooper is fast enough to win. But again, we would need him to be on his A game and Jet to sometimes not bring his A game. But we'd be talking with this on the other coast too, because there's other riders that are going to step up to the plate, and they're going to ride a lot harder on the opposite coast, not racing against them if they think that they can win. A rider that mentally thinks he can win is going to push the envelope a little bit more than somebody that is already internally been defeated. Like, people forget about how mental racing is.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right, man. Anything else you want to touch on here before we jump off here?
You tell me, Travis. You tell me. Hey. Are you are you buying any crypto?
Crypto? No. Stocks, certain ones, yes, as the dividends roll in here. I am with you on everything. My primary business here has slowed down. It's been kind of a slow rollout for the slowing down, the rolling back, we'll call it. Since like the middle of May, I've noticed it start to roll back, and then it's gotten not real hairy, but just super interesting the last 6-8 weeks here of like how slow it's actually gotten. Not going bankrupt, not FTX status over here, but it's it's not 2021 where I'm doing multiple thousands of dollars a day in powder coating stuff. So it's an interesting time, man. So I'm currently reinvesting my dividend payments here into what I'm currently buying is a thing called Energy Transfer. They have a good dividend payout. It's a pretty low. The cost is low per share. So that's
how
pretty,
low are we talking?
$12-13 a share, I think, something like that. Maybe even lower than that. I don't know. The market was down this morning before it opened, so
it's close to getting there in penny status.
Yeah.
What's the market cap of the company?
I don't remember that information right offhand, Johnny.
Okay. Do you think they've got a viable fundamental reason to be around long term?
They are, yeah. So they do something with natural gas and other energy thingies, which obviously, as we know here, there's a major energy crisis around the corner, supposedly. So I believe it will not only shoot up in value, but just continue to pay out. I've been really big, and we're getting into the financial side of things, which this is just my opinion. This is not financial advice. Let's just put that out there. I've gotten really big ever since the whole pandemic situation of if a company paid out a dividend during the pandemic, I'm very big into continuing to buy that company here as we work our way out of it. Because there were a lot of companies that I was holding that were supposed to pay dividends, and during the pandemic, they just threw their hands up and went, "Oh no, we can't do this." So I got rid of most of those, and like I said, continuing to buy. And this one has been has paid all the way through. They continue to pay. The dividend, like I said, is pretty good. And
what's the dividend, if you don't mind me asking?
Dude, honestly, I don't have that information either. I think it pays like 15 or 20 cents, so maybe it's like 10%.
It's pretty high
per share. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's been for analysts, according to analysts, it's been a buy for a long time here. So. And I've expected it to go up for a long time, and it just kind of floats around between like $10-15 a share most of the time. So, like I said, I really like it because I'm a big buy and hold and collect those dividends as they roll in. So,
yeah, usually when a company's paying dividends, their growth is kind of at its peak. What is the company's name so I can look into it?
It's Energy Transfer. I believe it's ET. On the ticker.
I like it. Well, I'll have to see it before I can, badmouth you at all, Travis. I should at least do a little bit of my own research, and then be like, oh man, this fucker's actually got something here.
Oh man, I don't remember how I found it. I honestly have no idea how I found it or got into it or anything. So, maybe I was just floating around looking at dividend paying stocks and like it popped up as a suggested one or something. But honestly, I don't remember. I've had it for years. So, and now like I said, I'm starting to, as I have a little bit of coin to invest in it or whatever, I'm starting to put a little bit more and try to build that into when you get a dividend payment, you go, all right, that's cool. Just made some money while I sleep. Awesome. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we're talking finance versus this moto show. I guess I will leave with some not so financial advice that my philosophy is kind of life stocks. If you use it, you should buy it,
Yes.
Toyota, Honda, whatever.
Yep.
That's what you should invest in, buy and hold, wait forever. Mm-hmm. And right now, I feel like we are on a U-shaped bottom where we're recovering. Inflation has kind of been in check. If the Fed comes out in December and decides to do anything less than a 75 basis point raise, I think we are going to start recovering. Price goes down twice as fast as it goes up. And in the midst of chaos, there's opportunity. So now is really the time for people not to panic, but start looking for those opportunities. Also in crypto, some of the ones that are going to be around for long term. Same thing with stocks. This is the .com bubble. 99% of all crypto is going to go to zero, and we're going to be left with the Facebooks, Amazons, Googles of that sort of deal. So risk versus reward. We're all risky SOBs because we're into dirt bike racing, and the fortune favors the brave. The stupid crypto.com logo that might go under because they've got their own effing stable coin with CRO. Anyway, that's kind of my 2 cents. Is now's a good time to be trying to put money into the market.
Yeah.
All markets.
Last thing I saw in Bitcoin, which I think was yesterday, 17,000. And I remember you and me arguing before when it came down the first time. Hey, man, it's going to get to 17. It's going to get to 16. You telling me, no. Then it got to 16, and I text you immediately.
Yeah, well, I just had a buy order this morning for it. And I've been buying. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is worth way more than what it is currently. So
yep.
I'm trying to figure out how I can. I still have 60% of all my money is tied up in stocks, but I yet to spend all of my time talking about cryptocurrency, even though that, the majority of my money is in safer stuff.
Yep.
It's just more risky and more sexy and more exciting because it's an emerging market. And I'm just trying to buy more of it because it's fundamentally that and Ethereum are changing all of finance, of finance. It's the internet, what it did for business, crypto is doing for finance, and people just don't know it. And there's so much bad mouth talk going around the world about everything, the Ukraine war, all sorts of stuff. They're linking to all sorts of this crap. Regulation is coming to crypto, and once it does, it's too effing late to be making 100x on your money. So anyway, I know we could make I should just have you over on my Johnny Crypto channel, and we can talk bullshit about this stuff.
Johnny, I don't know if I'm as in-depth about this stuff as you. I just listen to some podcasts and listen to some audio books and then, throw a dart at a board and I'm like, yep, that seems good.
Yeah, well, you're also very intellectual, dude. And we can all learn so much from other people.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of questions that you ask me off air about real estate. I just tell you, I don't fucking know, all this stuff with trusts, and it's out of the realm of what I do personally. So
yep.
It's the same thing. If you want to learn how to fucking go WFO and whoops, you find a Justin Brayton to go teach you.
Oh, AJ Catanzaro taught me that. It's fine. Head over the bars, third, fourth gear, you're fine. No problem.
Yeah. Just take some Viagra and close your eyes. You'll make it.
Good to go. Couple bumps and you're good to go. No problem. So
cool, man. Well, I'm going to get ready for my little live show here, but it's always a pleasure, sir. And whatever I can do to help you out, I will continue. I know this is vague. This is kind of still in the works, but I'm looking at trying to make another live show, which is kind of around the industry, where every Friday I want to try to have a guest on with a few people. Cool. And we can just bullshit about racing and predictions and make an ass of ourselves in a certain way. I think it'd be fun and interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey man, you know me, I'm always into talk moto or whatever. So just let me know. I mean, I can always come on and talk finances too. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but I can spew forth what little bit I do. So,
yeah, self-investing, dude. You're the 1% of the people around. The school should be teaching more about life skills rather than some of the bullshit that you don't need.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks, brother.
No problem.
Until next time.
Thank you. Yes.
Bro.
There we go. All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right. And next up, here to talk about his Paris Supercross experience, friend of the show, Kevin Moranz. Hey, buddy.
Howdy. How's it going?
It's going fantastic, man. I'm just kidding. It's going like shit. There's a ton of snow on the ground. I am over this. I'm moving to Florida next week. So,
dude, I'm coming down with you.
All right. Well, I got to buy a big house because there's a lot of people that are saying, yeah, we'll be there. Oh, shit. Okay.
And then we just need to find a way to transport my Supercross track down there and we'll be solid.
I know. That's what we need. So, anyway, man. All right. So, you've been busy this off season here. You built a Supercross track. We came and rode it. We've been over that already. Tell me about your Paris Supercross experience this year, though, because you went on a 450 instead of a 250. So what you got for me?
Correct. So same team. The team doesn't really get to choose whether they have a 250 slot or 40 slot. They're kind of told what's available. I told them preferably 250 again, but they're like, 450 is what we got. I was like, all right, let's do it. So yep, going over there on the 450, which is, I was not scared of because obviously that's what I've been racing. I was told there's a gas on over there, so I was like, oh, cool, like I'm cool down to ride a different bike that's kind of the same. I get over there and it's a KTM frame
that's
with
awesome.
gas plastics on it. Which I wish I would have known that anyway, just so I wasn't thinking I was going over the red different bike.
Yeah.
But I flew over there with a shock, just because I didn't know the year prior, obviously when I got on the podium, they had pretty good suspension. However, track was way gnarlier this year than it was the past year. So happy I flew out there with the shock, but I almost wish I would have flew out there with Worx too. So we were just struggling with setup pretty much the whole time, but we took it for what it was. Got some good laps in, and dude, it was so much fun. So I was super stoked to be able to go out to Paris again. love the fans out there. Hopefully get to go back next year. But, yeah, nothing too crazy besides just getting on the bike and trying to make adjustments every single time I was on the track to try to make it better. And we kind of just continued getting better, which was solid. Got absolutely obliterated, got taken out. I don't know if you've seen the vlog or if you've seen that video, but
I haven't
that was
yet.
super fun. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen it yet. So,
have you seen? You're following the Moranz Mafia account, though, aren't you?
I think
on
so.
Instagram?
I think so.
Are you capable of watching that, like while we talk?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Try to get on the Moranz Mafia because I posted it specifically just direct to the Moranz Mafia account for the patrons. You know what I mean? Because they can see everything first. But yeah, dude. It was the third race, first night, third race. So it was the main event the first night. Got almost like a top 4 or 5 start.
Is it the one you literally just posted?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Okay.
Or what? It's the last one I posted on Moranz Mafia.
Okay.
And yeah, let me know when you actually see it.
I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it right now, and there he goes. Yep. Yep. He sawed off that front wheel. That's for sure.
Yeah, for real.
Whoever that guy was, he was like, "Fuck you, American."
Yeah. He's 7th or 8th is what I was running. I was running a solid 7th or 8th, and got that sawed off, and then it bit my front rotor, so my front wheel was like stopping in air, which was super sick. So finished it out though, and then it came back the next day, and I think I went 11-11, and then finished in the top on the last race to get top 10 overall on the week or on the day. I think I just missed top 10 on the weekend, so I mean, it was what it was, man. It was a super fun experience, but I mean, obviously, it was a little bit more fun getting on the podium. So, I mean, when you're racing, the top 5 was pretty stacked. Let's be honest. So,
yeah, I was watching night 1, and I was keeping track of you and like watching it, and I'm like, well, there's a couple of guys between him and those top 5 dudes that I just like, I don't know who they really are. Like, they were French dudes, and I'm like, they might be legit, they might not, I don't know. But yeah, once you got into Marv, Webb, that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, I love you, Kev, but I don't think you're touching them, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I was happy to an extent because I felt like I beat everybody that I should have beat.
Yeah.
There was a couple French guys I was pretty close to, but I've also been told that those are pretty solid French dudes. So
yeah.
Yeah, man, because I've heard a lot of their names for a while. So I mean, just being smart, taking for what it is, getting some motos in. Because I didn't get to ride 2 weeks before I went over there. Like, I was sick as a dog before I went over there. I tested negative for COVID. Took 2 different COVID tests. Tested negative both times. But it had that like deep, raspy, gravelly sound on exhale. And then, just coughing nasty, green shit up, stuffy nose, just drained, like just felt like it was not good.
You mean you had the flu? Holy shit, no way.
Yeah. Well,
it's wild. That fucker came out of nowhere.
It seemed pretty gnarly. But yeah, so that didn't help, and then going right over and immediately racing without the time on the bike. It was tough, but, we got through it.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. So, I did actually, you know what? Did I watch the vlog? No, I was watching your stories because you had the interesting story trying to get over there again because you flew to Florida and then the hurricane was coming in.
Bruh. That was stressful. Like I flew, we planned on flying to Florida so I can meet up with Sater. We fly overseas together, so it's easy.
Yeah.
So if anything happens, we deal with it together, right?
Yep.
Well, I just about screwed us royally, and we almost both didn't go by flying down to Florida. So I will tell you this. If I go next year, I will be flying straight there and meeting them over there because that was not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, flying into Florida in hurricane season is a bad time. Like,
yeah, it's not like I knew a hurricane was coming in when I booked the flight months in advance, but it happens.
Yep. So, So how's the training been going at the house? I mean, okay, never mind. I guess that's kind of a stupid question because you just told us you were sick for 2 weeks before you went to Paris, and now you just got back here. So have you rode since you've been back, or you just been still recovering here?
No, we're still in the same situation that you're in, unfortunately. It was like, I don't know, 17 degrees today, something like that. So it was wildly cold today. And then it's supposed to warm back up. It's supposed to be in the 50s all next week. So we're going to get some riding in next week before Thanksgiving. Try to ride here as long as we can before we have to leave because of the weather. So, nope, I haven't rode yet, but we got riding plans this coming week.
Do you have a hard date that you're thinking for California bound yet, or?
Ideally, well, based off of last year, dude, it was 50 degrees on Christmas last year.
Oh, okay.
So my original thought, stay here until Christmas, go straight out to California.
Okay.
With how cold it's already getting this year, I don't know if that happens. Obviously, I'll be here until Thanksgiving, but if I have to go down to, it would probably end up being like Texas for a week or two.
Okay.
Before Christmas.
Okay.
And then out to California. I really don't want to drive all the way out to California just to pay $1,000 to fly home for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'd really rather just stay here until Christmas and then go out.
Where are you going to go in Texas?
Huh?
Where are you going to go in Texas to ride?
There's I don't know what the place is called, but it's like where Kobush is riding right now and a couple other guys.
Oh, okay.
I might go out there, or if I have to send it down, I don't know if I'd send it down to Florida. I guess at that point I might as well just go out to California. But yeah. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
So I've seen some people have been riding at the house. Who have we had out there?
We've only had Benny, man.
Oh, really?
Benny's the only legit Supercross guy. I mean, I've had a couple amateur kids come out, ride it. A couple kids that are like getting ready to go pro, but really it's just been Benny and I.
Oh, okay.
I think he's planning on coming out the beginning of this week to ride with me. So. Oh,
okay. And he's on a Yamaha, but we don't know what he's doing, huh?
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know. He's it's all up in the air for him, but I have no idea.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else I really need to ask you about here. I mean, it's off season, so it's slow. So there's nothing. Where do you think Kenny's gonna? Okay. Where do you think Kenny's gonna land? Like what?
I have no idea. What's the verdict on his whole Suzuki ride? He didn't really comment. From what I've seen about what he thought of the Suzuki, I mean, I thought he looked good on it. Obviously, he's been on Suzuki before, but
I mean,
at the same time, the bike is just so behind everybody else's.
That's basically the same bike that he won a championship on last time he rode it. So, I mean, whatever. Here's what I'll tell you, because like when this episode comes out, I've talked to you, Hopper, and Cooksey, and I've asked them this same question here over the week with the Kenny thing. Basically. So what I know so far is we don't think he's going to do Kawasaki at all because of the Red Bull deal. He's not going to get rid of that, and Monster doesn't seem to want to stroke that check, even though we think they have some extra money that they should want to stroke that check. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we think that Kawasaki's out of the running. He could ride a Firepower Honda for Urief's team, but the problem with that is we don't think there will be any bonuses because Honda's not going to step up and give him bonuses after they just had their fucking public falling out, essentially. So, like, he looks really good on the Honda. He feels really good on the private Honda there, but we just don't think money-wise that's going to be the play for him. The Club MX Yamaha deal there, that's like one of the high up things that we think could happen. But I've heard that he wasn't, like Michael Lindsay did a video and said that he was not pumped with the structure of that team or something to that effect, which I thought was interesting. So we're not really sure. That one has definitely lowered in possibility. So then we go to HEP Suzuki, which Suzuki, from what I understand, has been trying to make some big swings money-wise to get somebody back on a Suzuki because they're pulling out of MotoGP, so they have budget in the motorsports division. But then it comes back to what can he really do on that Suzuki? How good is it? I mean, they've got some decent money on that team too because Progressive is their title sponsor now. So that's interesting. And then there's also the rumor flying around out there that he's been talking to HEP for a long time, but originally when he was talking to them, like during Supercross and Outdoors, the deal was they were going to switch to KTMs. So that would have been interesting. So, yeah, honestly, man, I don't fucking know.
That's interesting.
I'd love to have an answer, but there is a lot of interesting shit going on with him right now as far as
radio too. Like, I mean, we're getting close to the season, bro.
I know. So here's the real funny thing that I thought would be excellent. I think, because obviously his problem is that he's going to be the face of World Supercross, right? Like, everybody knows that he won that title. Everybody knows he's probably going to go back there next year because they're going to give him a bunch of money. What I thought would be hilarious is if he just, say, does his own program, air quotes, and World Supercross be the title sponsor of it. So he's got
hilarious.
World Supercross all over the bike, and then every time he gets on the podium, I just want to thank, World Supercross and my Red Bull Yamaha up here. And now, we don't think that'll actually happen, but I just think it would be epic. And if I'm the World Supercross guys and everybody fucking hates me already anyway in the US, I'm doing something like that.
Dude, that sounds like a brilliant idea.
Because here's the thing. What's going to happen? Are they going to tell Kenny he can't ride? Do you know what the hell situation that's going to cause? Oh, sorry, you can't.
My boy,
you can't ride.
Power.
Huh?
That is. Oh, my boy's got the power. That would be so epic.
He does. He has the power to make change. And the thing is World Supercross is going to throw between 1 and 2 million at him for next year anyway. So it's dude, just tell him look, we'll give you 2.5 million, but you got to do somewhat of your own program where you can put our logo all over the shrouds of your bike. But I guess I'm more vindictive like that. I would go at it as just I don't want to be your fucking friend because you want to be an asshole to me anyway. So I don't know.
You just love stirring shit up, don't you?
I mean, dude, I just think it would be hilarious to see him on the podium with World Supercross all over his jersey, all over the bike, and fucking literally being on TV thanking his sponsor, World Supercross Championship, and come watch me fucking dominate that championship this year. Oh man, it'd be epic, dude. Be fucking epic.
I think that would be good.
So, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see where he lands. I do think that he does end up landing with either Club MX or HEP, because then that way he can just transition right to their World Supercross team since they already have one. I mean, obviously Uribe does too, but I really think the Honda breakup is the big deterring factor there with that team. No matter how good that bike is, I think that's a deterring factor. The other thing I think would be super interesting to do is if he was to ride a Stark, the new Stark there that he rode the other day. But from what I understand on that end, every single sanctioning body and race promoter is telling them you absolutely are not allowed to ride that in our series. And Stark is very, very stern on, we want to go ride against 450s, and everybody's like, well, we can't guarantee that you only have 450 power, which is such a fucking bullshit excuse anyway, because it's the 450s are basically unlimited. What are you doing? Are you pulling 450s apart looking to see if they big board it? Absolutely fucking not. You're not. And number one. Number two, a big board doesn't even do shit compared to what you can do in that ECU, so don't fucking give me this. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. But the thing is that if he did ride that Stark, it would fucking decimate everyone out there, especially in Supercross. So, yeah, because it's unlimited power right off the bat, and they can program that fucking thing to literally never lose traction. So, I mean, those things are going to be fucking incredible. And no one would even touch him on that, because he would just be able to jump farther than everybody everywhere all the time. It'd be incredible. So, anyway, that's way too much of me talking, not enough of you talking. Anything else? Anything else we should know about here on the Moranz Mafia side of things for the future here?
Only thing is we're just completely redoing the whole program, making it a similar program to last year, but just revamping it, making it better. So, fully new website, kevinmoranz.com. You can go there and find everything, all of my support tiers, all of my support, everything, because we obviously got a ton going on with the program. So we finally have organized it and explained it, so it's a little bit easier to follow. So, kevinmoranz.com if you want to jump in on the 2023 program. Other than that, we're just going to keep riding, bro.
All right. Sick, bro. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, man. And I'm sure we'll talk soon here because, we need to talk all the time.
Indeed. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Later, buddy.
All right. Peace.